everybody. My name is Shortline K19. Hello, Crimson. Welcome in. And today we are playing Kerbal Space Program, which will be very fun. So yeah, we're gonna play KSP. We're gonna work on my fleet of rockets. Hello, Thrillville 109. Welcome in. My Odysseus fleet of rockets, which I'm pretty sure is the standard name that I've been trying to call my launch vehicle fleet that I've been trying to work on for the past year. But Kerbal Space Program, of course, is a game where as soon as you start playing it, you kind of need to play it for several hours. You can't just... It's not a game that you can easily put up and pick down. So let's go ahead and get into it. I got my my water right here. Forever save real. Let me go ahead and pick up my water. Oh yeah, I discovered that I can do this. I can like hide away. But like when I try and go over here, it just doesn't work. Probably because my mic is like right here. My mic is like right here. So it just, the detection just doesn't work anymore. Water. Always prepare for the watery sip. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so I've actually built the first, I guess the first generation of this rocket, I guess you can say. Here, let me put this over here. This is the Odysseus 1A. This is our new launch vehicle. I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy about how it has turned out. I think this looks wonderful. But this is the baseline variant, just single core. It is designed to lift about 9 tons into a low Kerbal orbit, so fairly simple. Gamwolfer's Vine Boom sound effect. Hello, Gam. Welcome in. How's the audio, everyone? We got the Subnautica soundtrack up today. But yeah. So this is, as I said, first of all, so I built this just as kind of a starting point for our rocket series. And now I'm thinking like, okay, what kinds of missions? Bear indeed. What kinds of missions are we going to do? Because this is great for getting 9 tons into a low Kerbal orbit, which is fine. 9 tons is, that's fine for, I guess, like, small space station modules and a small crew vehicle and basic satellites and whatnot. And we can probably lob stuff out to the Mun. But what other kinds of missions are we going to do? Well, we're obviously going to need to lift heavy payloads out to geostationary orbit and out to the moon. So I'm thinking that the easiest upgrade that we can do is we can do a 3-core variant, kind of like Falcon Heavy or Delta 4. And then we're going to need a version for our crew logistics vehicle, which might end up being a 3-core version without an upper stage. So we might have that. And then for really heavy payloads, maybe a 4-core variant without the upper stage too. So I am curious, right? Let's go ahead and, because I built this a couple of months ago. And I just want to... I just want to see real quick. Ugh. I am tired. This week has been... It's been interesting. It's been an interesting week. Let's see. 9-ton dummy payload. Let's just go ahead and see real quick. I'm gonna fly this again. Just to see what the exact performance, like how much margin do we have on this 9-ton payload? rocket carrying 9 tons of payload to low Kerbal orbit. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's doing well. My day was fine. I had a bit trouble focusing today, but hopefully that's all over with now. Yeah, I'm tired though. It was very hot out today, and I did sweat a lot, which can really make you tired. But anyways, let's go ahead and just fly this and see what happens. So this is carrying about 9 tons worth of payload to orbit. Okay, we got liftoff. I'm unable to go home, unfortunately. Oh, that sucks, Crimson. I hope that changes soon. Okay, I'm not going to be reading chat right now because I'm focused on, well, this launch. So I won't exactly be able to easily read much of chat while I'm doing this. No rotation. But yeah, I got 2 midterms next week in my managerial accounting class and my my calculus class. Calculus is next Friday, which sucks because that means I can't go home Friday because in 2 weeks is spring break. That means I can't really easily go home, so I gotta go home Saturday of next week. And then my managerial accounting test, which is going to be my hardest test, that is going to be on Tuesday. I think I'll do well on both of them. Good enough, probably. I've been studying for them already, so that's nice. It's a bit of a shallow trajectory there. Play the fairing. Oh. Okay, so that's the difference between the 1 and the 1P, where this version is this version has some slight modifications to it. And I don't care if the solar panels broke off, I'm gonna revert flight. I'm gonna revert flight anyways, because, as I said, this is just a test to see how things go. My baseline orbit is always 100 kilometers, so we'll get to that. It's very pretty looking. I do really appreciate that Spud put together this mod pack for me, so that's nice. I did make some slight modifications of my own, but yeah, dropping below 900 meters a second. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it looks like you can probably get about 12 tons to orbit with this thing. But that's about it. That might be good for like a starter crew capsule, nothing too complicated. But we shall see, we shall see. Groville 109 is on a 5-stream streak. Congratulations. I'm chillaxing. Breeze Foxo Supervisor. Nice, nice. There we go. Just warp up there real quick, and we will have gotten this thing into orbit with about, it appears about 600 meters per second of delta V left, which, I mean, is enough to do a bunch of on-orbit maneuvering in low curve in orbit, but to go any further, yeah, we're gonna need a bigger launch vehicle. Okay, so all right, so 500 meters per second to low curve in orbit. That is not going to be enough because one of the first things I want to do is I want to build out a network of communication satellites. I want to build out a network of communication satellites in geostationary orbit. And I'm thinking to make things easier, I would want to co-manifest them, as in launch 2 of them at the same time. But that cannot lift 2 satellites, 2 large communication satellites out to that orbit. So we're going to need a bigger rocket. So let's go ahead and load up. Oh yeah, I don't actually have Discord brought up. Okay. Okay, we're gonna need a bigger rocket. So let's get up the Odysseus 1A, right? Come on. Here's the Odysseus 1A right here. I think the easiest thing we do, take the core stage, add 2 more on the side. Which is more complicated than it actually sounds like, but it's not like too complicated. So let's go ahead and we'll call this the Odysseus 1B. If we're continuing with the naming scheme. This stream is brought to you by Discord. I am not sponsored by anybody, so let me go ahead and just Odysseus core stage. Right? Save Odysseus 1B. And now it's 63 parts. And now it's a matter of basically just taking... You see the vision here, right? Just... place these things right here. You see the vision. Or it's a 3-core variant. Now, the center core, I think we are going to have to do a little bit of modification. Hello? Give me a second. Are we going to have to do a little bit of modification? I don't think. No, we have the vernier engines built in. We have the batteries. I think the core is actually okay. Because I'm suspecting that the core might actually end up all the way in orbit, or at least close to it. Sponsored by the almighty Washington, Ohio. Not particularly. Hold up. Why? My camera muscle memory is not 100% correct. Okay. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's take these. No, we don't want a 4-core variant. I think right now we're gonna go with a 2-core, and then we're gonna go with a 2-core with no upper stage. so let's go ahead and start to build these out. Now on this, I might have to, hold up, just get rid of the flag. And then subassembly. And then reroute to that part. Let's see. Will that be enough clearance, I guess is the question. Yeah, okay, it looks like we will actually have to do some modification on the core stage because, you know, these winglets are not are not exactly working too well. Okay. So in that case, let me take the winglets off the center core. Let's see. And then also we're gonna remove the flag from symmetry right there. That looks like Falcon Heavy to me. Or Delta 4. Hold up. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So, we have this. I guess also I can, just for the... Okay, another thing, we're gonna have to put, proper nose cones on these things. Let's see. Can I make them the gray? No, they're just the white. Okay. I guess also in areas where you can't exactly see the decals, I'll probably just go ahead and remove them. Here we go. Remove from symmetry. Remove from symmetry. And remove symmetry. Okay. So there we go. I guess another thing is, are these auto strut to the root part, auto strut to the root part, auto strut disabled, auto strut disabled, auto strut to the heaviest part, auto strut to the root part. Okay, so we have the auto struts in. Oh, that is too close. Well, actually, these side cores, they're not going to need the little Sephitrons like that. They're going to need Sephitrons pointing outwards. Okay. Well, first of all, let me go ahead and actually strut some of this hardware up. Um, so let me go ahead and just start doing that. I want this to look a certain way. I know my Kerbal Space Program streams may not be the most riveting in the world, but you know what? I enjoy doing them. I'd still say that this still is my favorite game, I would say. I just wish that I actually had the time to play it more. Because I was talking about this last stream with Spud in chat. I hope Spud shows up. But, you know, I've been finding myself gravitating towards games that are very easily, games that are project games like this, where you kind of set your own goals. Where you kind of set your own goals. How's the audio, by the way? Is it a bit too loud? Music? But games where you can very easily pick them up and put them down. I'd say Rolling Line is a perfect example of that, where if I want to go into Rolling Line and take a screenshot, it's not too difficult for me to do so. I can fairly easily go into Rolling Line and load up some of the reskins that I've made and make a quick little screenshot. It'll be okay. Hold up. Everything needs to be... It's not perfectly symmetrical. Sorry. The fact that those two are not aligning as they should is really bothering me. Yeah, there we go. That's my... I am of course Death the Kid from Soul Eater. Everything must be perfectly symmetrical, except for my hair. What was I saying? Yeah, like with Rolling Line, if I want to hop into Rolling Line and make myself a nice little reskin, I can work on the reskin for maybe like 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, put it away, come back next time, and it's fairly obvious what I was previously doing. I'm not, when I load back in, I'm not lost, so to speak. And if I want to load into Rolling Line because I want to make a screenshot, that's fairly simple. But with like a game like Kerbal Space Program, this is a game where you can't really. This is not a game where you can load into it, play it for 20 minutes, and then, load it back up, 2 days later and be perfectly okay. You kind of have to... This is one of those games where you kind of have to play it for a long time. It's not one of those games where you can easily just be like... It's not pick up and put down, I guess is what I'm saying. And there are a lot of games that, well, that looks nice. There are a lot of games that I play that are not like that. Like, it's the reason why I haven't gotten into Europe Universalis 5, mostly because it's not... The game isn't particularly, not particularly ready at the moment. I mean, it's out, it's released, but it's not, to the same point that EU4 was. But that is another game where, a few years ago, I could afford to play it for 7 hours at a time or 4 hours at a time because that's, your average session was that long. It's not a game where you could pick up, play for 20 minutes, and then go home. So... There we go. Hmm. Give me a second. I don't think those struts are on the proper, uh, alignment, I guess you could say. Hold up. Uh. So yeah, I've been finding myself, you know, playing those games. That's part, as I said, that's part of the reason why I haven't played much in terms of Kerbal Space Program. That's part of the reason why I haven't played much in terms of well, EU4. I haven't played EU5 at all. Uh, Plus there's other projects like YouTube and just general school stuff. You know, all that good stuff. That takes up my time. Oh, I meant to copy that and I just didn't. Pull up. There we go. Oh, I did it again. There we go. Which is a shame because I really love Kerbal Space Program. As I said, I love this game. I wish I could just spend 8 hours a day playing KSP and not get tired of it. Like during COVID, right? During 2020, 2021, you can still find it on YouTube, my Shoreline Space Program save. Uh, that's basically all I did. I would play Kerbal Space Program for like 6 hours straight, film it, speed it up, put it up on YouTube. It was kind of terrible. I did not know what I was doing in terms of video making. I kind of knew what I was doing in terms of Kerbal Space Program, but not really. And yeah, I'd release like an episode like every month or every week because that was one of my COVID projects was just playing KSP in that save, and then I got bored of it and I did other things. Uh, uh, the flags are cool. I love the fact that I can use that decal mod to, make those bands like that. But sometimes when trying to work around them, it can be hard sometimes. I do really like the way it looks though. I think that this looks peak the way I've designed this. Um, with the red and white banding. Okay. Now the moment of truth, which is, let me go ahead and save this real quick. Uh, can I shift this down and have it work well? The V struts. Okay. Go ahead and save. Oh, they're all slightly off from one another. Oh, that is infuriating. What about this up here? See, that's pretty even. But then you look down here and it's like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, you gotta press control. Oh, nope. There we go. I know it does kind of clip into the raceway there, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Uh, I don't know. There's almost a certain innocence about, like, you know, when you were stuck at home during COVID and all you did was just play games. Okay. Can't really recapture much of that. Although I'm kind of hoping to during spring break when I don't really have much planned for it. I don't really have anything planned for spring break. So I guess we'll see what happens. Okay, another thing we need to do is put some struts on this, because as it stands, when the side cores jettison and they don't have the struts, they're probably just gonna hit the rocket, and you'll have like a Falcon 1 Flight 3 moment where you fail because your stage hits you again. But let me go ahead and do some of that. Come on. There we go. Yeah, strut. Is there a included in delta V calculation? Not particularly. Here we go. I haven't played Kerbal Space Program in a while, so my grasp of the controls is, I mean, it's still pretty muscle memory, but not quite that. Okay. Not quite muscle memory, but close, I love how the vernier thrusters look like the turrets from Portal. I'm gonna chalk that up to not being coincidence at all and just, you know, go on with my day. Chalk it up to not being coincidence. That's a phrase. Let's see. Oh, hold up. Oops, that's not supposed to... That's not supposed to be like that. That doesn't do anything. That actually would impart roll on the craft. It wouldn't, yeah, there we go. That would be very bad. Okay. Also, the fact that I got a new mouse. My old mouse that I've been using since I got my computer, like, 6 years ago at this point, finally died. It didn't want to, did not want to live much anymore. Still have this mouse pad, though, that I've been using since middle school. It's just ever omnipresent. I should probably get a new mouse pad, one that's, you know, not a decade old at this point. But, you know, it's fine. Okay. Okay, so another thing is, are these thrust limited? No, they are not. Okay. Is this thrust limited? That is thrust limited. I would want to thrust limit that down even more. Thrust limit it to like 50. Because we don't want all 3 cores to run at the same thrust limiting levels, because, well, then they would they would all burn out at the same time, which would kind of defeat the purpose. So there you go. Got the 3 cores. It's very nice. I guess another thing that I could do to improve the delta V on this is I could have the center cores, the side cores feed into the center core. Falcon Heavy was originally going to do that, but if you read up on the development of Falcon Heavy, you understand that it ended up being a lot more difficult than they had expected, because they did want to do the they did want to do this where they fed the had cross feed between the boosters, but it was just too much. Hold up. Let's see. This is a trick that I do just to make things align properly. You add the little cubic octags. Don't know how long tonight's stream is gonna be, so. Oh, I was thinking, like, I might have forgotten to do something, and then I realized I did actually forget to send out an announcement in a Discord server that I'm in. So let me, after I finish this, I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, propellant crossfeed. There we go. Wait, did I only... Oh yeah, it's on the other side. Okay. Do 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 do. Oh, that is... Hold up. Oop. Hold up. Yeah. Here, let me save this. I know this isn't the most riveting content, but I do not care. Why is it like that? Why is it like that? It needs to be aligned. It needs to be aligned. Ah. I am annoyed. Ah. Annoying. Let me take a sip of my water real quick. Water. Hold up. You know, maybe we can throw that away. Oh, let's see. Oh, the drain valve. I don't need that. Um. Okay. Let's go ahead. Snap that to... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now note that I don't actually have any kind of like cooldown on my emotions. They just sometimes they trigger and sometimes they don't. Well, I have to like press a button. I do like control and then on my mouse pad it's like control 1, 2, 3. Why does it do that? Why? 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 What if I do that on the core? Let's see. And then snaps back to that. I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that. Why am I getting hung up on this? Okay. Hold up, I have an idea. Wait, no, it's a stupid idea. Actually, give me a second. Let me just see real quick because I don't know, sometimes the snap is like really weird in terms of how it works. If I press save. Um Yeah, there we go. Okay. I think I know how to do this now. Give me 1 second. I have a space heater in my room, and it's drawing a lot of voltage. Let me go ahead. Yeah, it's like set to like be like 75 or like 72 degrees or something. And it'll get up to that, and then it will sense that the temperature has gotten below that, I guess, after a few minutes, and it'll kick back on. And I have a lamp that's next to me, and whenever it kicks back on, the lamp it like dims, so it's drawing a lot of stuff, a lot of current. So it's I I'm turning that off because I don't want it to draw so much that it like kills my computer while I'm trying to do things. So okay. Okay, let's see. Uh Here we go. Okay, I think we're almost done with this. And now we also need a we also hello? We also need a payload. So I'm thinking we can just put the 9-ton payload on it again. And just say, okay, it's 9 tons to a higher orbit or something. So, come on, go in. And then the fuel line, go in. And then let's, fuel delivery overlay. Or, let's see that, fuel delivery overlay. Okay, yeah. So that's how I know that it's actually flowing. And what I can do is I can just increase the flow priority on these. And so it will prioritize the flow into the center core. So what it will actually do is it'll initially draw fuel from these 2 side boosters. And this center core will remain fully fueled until those 2 side boosters stage and the core continues on up. That's a trick to get a lot of extra performance out of your vehicle. I'm not aware of any rocket in real life that does that because it's kind of difficult to do. Like in Kerbal Space Program, it's just a matter of, putting a few fuel ducts and changing some numbers around. But as I said, in real life, that is an incredibly difficult thing to do. I mean, nothing about spaceflight is easy, so... But there's always a, I guess what you could call relative difficulty. I am a supply chain major. In an alternate universe where I could do math, I could be an aerospace engineer, I think. However, I cannot do math. The thing about all of this is that all of this stuff is not hard conceptually speaking. At least I don't find it hard conceptually speaking. It's actually doing it. Like, try and get me to do any of the math behind any of this, and my brain will just short circuit, which is why I'm not doing it. But here, let me go ahead, save real quick. I know, because sometimes when you pick... Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to get all these to be aligned, and they're not, which is really bugging me. Do. Okay. Got my degree in poli-sci. Nice, nice. My major is logistics and supply chain management. I'm sure it's no secret why I chose that one specifically. Can this fucking work? I might just have to do it like No, it is being done individually. That's gonna bug me, and I'm gonna keep at this until I actually manage to get that right. But I will say, this is a very nice looking rocket so far, I will say. There we go. Ugh. Let's see. Howdy, hello Z Globlin, welcome in. First time viewer I see. What are we up to over here? I'm building launch vehicles. I am building, let me just load. I've built this, this is the Odysseus series. Oh wait, no, I just loaded up the exact same craft file. I can see that. Well, yes, I'm showing you my launch vehicles. We're building my Odysseus series of launch vehicles for this new save, 2.5 meters. I have built my single stick, which can lift. It's rated to lift about 12 tons to low Kerbal orbit, and now I'm building the 3-core variant. I guess you can call it Odysseus Heavy, but I'm calling it Odysseus 1B, which is supposed to lift about the same amount to a super synchronous geostationary transfer orbit. So, if we try to open TDD, it's pretty much game about logistics. I have played a lot of open TDD. Will there be Audi Super Heavy 5 cores? I was actually thinking that because my eventual plan later on down the road is I do want to start building large space stations, and I might need a 5-core version with like a really big upper stage. But for now, I'm just doing this, which is the 1B, which is like beyond low Kerbal orbit stuff, and then I'm gonna make what I'm gonna call the 1C, which is basically just this but without the upper stage, and that's gonna be used for my my crew vehicle. So, but right now I am just trying to get this crossfeed stuff aligned. Nah, you need an upper stage. I don't know, because for the... Actually, I guess we'll see. I guess it depends on the kind of crew vehicle that I made, because I remember a while ago I made a crew vehicle that basically launched on a rocket like this, but I didn't need the upper stage. Just for it to look good. I guess that's true. But we'll see. I do like to make my rockets look good. As you can see, I've sort of decked this one out with striping and decals and all that. So yeah, I'm just putting the finishing touches on this, and then we will. I'm just putting the finishing touches on it, and then we will go ahead and we will test it out. I first started building this at the beginning of the stream, so which was about 50 minutes ago. So I guess we'll see what happens when we actually go to fly the stupid thing. Do we have the full crossfeed? Because these aren't technically symmetrical, so yeah, I need the full crossfeed. So, oh no, okay, yeah, that needs to be 0 on the side, 0 on the side, 0 on the side. It's 1 in the center. Okay, you can definitely just say it's there for safety. Looks very nice. All it's missing is the 250th decal. True. Oh my gosh. Shit. Now I want to add that on. Hold up. Let me. Can I do this real quick? USA 250th logo. It's like the boosters on SLS. Oh well, we'll do that. We'll do that in a we'll do that in a bit. I kind of just want to get this flying, and then we can. Actually, you know what? Screw it. We'll slap the decal on right now. That's too good of an idea not to do, to put off for later. 250th USA logo. Okay, let me just drag this over. The question is, does it go on the cores or on the second stage? That is true. I don't know. I think the first stage, the side cores are pretty cluttered, full of stuff right now. I think it would make sense if I put it like right there on the second stage. And you know, the sides of this side is all cluttered up anyways with the raceway and all the bracketing and whatnot. Let me hold up. Let me just exit out of KSP while I actually put this flag in. Luckily, this mod pack isn't too intense, so it doesn't, you know, take 8 bajillion years to load, which probably means I'm doing something wrong. But, or perhaps use the American Airlines logo as the Rocket Family decal. Oh, wait, hold up. Give me a second. I mean, have I ever flown American Airlines? I do not think I have. I mean, the American Airlines logo is kind of cool. I will admit that. Let me just go ahead and hello, Kerbal Space Program. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that is pretty cool. American has a nice scheme. I will say. Compared, of course, to no offense to United Airlines, maybe a little bit of offense to United Airlines. But United Airlines is just kind of boring, not gonna lie. The boringification of United Airlines. Oh yeah, Continental 2.0. I always forget, like, that looks cool. United had so many good schemes in the past. Like I love this one with the orange, red, and blue. That looks so nice, and then that's just Continental. But then the newest one is just kind of boring. Oh, that's not the newest scheme. The newest scheme is just kind of boring. United Airlines is just the boring airline, in my opinion. So. Delta scheme is also kind of boring, not gonna lie, too. Which, I have family who works for Delta, so I'm already kind of biased towards them. But I will admit this is kind of somewhat of a boring scheme. I think it's like the logo makes it. I think what yeah, the Delta logo I think makes this look less worse than it otherwise would have been. Probably the only decent airline in the United States. Of course. I love TWA, and I think that if you're gonna do a all-white minimalist scheme, and that's a cool scheme, that's how you do it. With the white and the red stripes. Hawaiian Airlines logo. Well, that's nice. That is a nice scheme. They made it more complicated. Oh my gosh, they didn't simplify it into oblivion. I love Southwest's old scheme. Oh yeah, that is cool. That is rather neat. Desert Gold. The new the most recent Southwest scheme I also do think is rather nice too. So, like this is instantly recognizable. That's the thing. You know, when even something with like Spirit Airlines, which I know Spirit Airlines is probably the worst airline in the United States and they're bankrupt right now, but like, yeah, the blue scheme is just the old one. Yeah, I mean they swapped out the gold for blue, which, you know what? I think both of these are pretty cool. So, But anyways, that was not the point of this. The point of this was I need to quickly make this flag for this 250th decal. So let me just go ahead and make that real quick. Where's my KSP second save folder? Unity mod pack, Railroader. Where the hell did I put this? Okay, wait. Okay, there we go. Let me just make this real quick. This would, if I could find the correct flag folder. Form decals, game data. Oh. Pull up KSP 4. Give me a second while I slowly. Oh wait, it's literally on the side. Okay, hold up. I'm an idiot and did not see this icon on my desktop. No worries, take your time. Thank you, thank you. Flag. Flags, squad. Size of these flags? 250 by 160. Okay, let me go ahead and just slightly modify that real quick. 250. And then canvas size 50 by 160. It's an SVG file. Save. Drag that in. Only been streaming for an hour? Really? Huh. I don't typically stream all that long, but my KSP streams tend to be long, the longest. Okay, let me load this back up. Here, while I while I wait for Kerbal Space Program to load, let me briefly check my my messages. But yes, I am partial to so I guess you're a bit of a space geek. Yes, yes. I am partial to all things TWA, so because I also like Lockheed. The only consistent theme in terms of the aircraft that I like is stuff made by Lockheed. And obviously, in terms of Lockheed's commercial jets, TWA was for the most part their primary customer. With the Constellation, and then the Super G, and then the L-1011. I don't know why I'm... So, let me go ahead. So, window, okay. Hi, can you... There we go, okay. But yeah, I've been getting into more aviation recently, because I've always been, like, a big space fan. But recently I've been getting more into the aviation side because I don't know. I just find like business history something really fascinating, and for the most part that just manifested itself in railroad business history. But it's been doing itself in terms of airlines a lot recently too, because that's equally as insane. TWA sure built a very nice terminal at JFK. I was actually there about a month ago at this point. Yeah, I was there at the beginning of February. I had to go inside the super constellation they have there. Oh, why am I frozen? Got to walk around, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I was there. Because I was in New York on family business, and I told my parents, hey, they have this hotel here where it's in the old airport terminal, and my favorite commercial aircraft of all time. They have one of those just parked outside that you can go in. And my parents are like, sure, we could show up a little bit early so you can, before you catch your flight, so you can poke around in there. And I'm like, yes. I was I was I was I was so happy. Okay. Let's load back in. So, well, I don't know why. In a candy store? Yes, yes, indeed. Uh, not the most happy I've ever been in a place. I used to live, um, 15 minutes away from the Air and Space Museum in DC, where they have Discovery and the Concorde and all that. I don't live there anymore, so I can't just pop down and see a space shuttle in like half of an afternoon. But or an adult in a Lego store. I do actually have. I'm currently building the like for Christmas. I got the Space Shuttle Enterprise and Shuttle Carrier aircraft set. So that I'm currently working on building that. Whenever I just get a massive headache and I don't want to focus on any other task, I just build Legos. As weird as it's nice. Right by Dulles, right by Dulles. So okay, here we are. Let's go ahead and flag decal. I don't know, maybe this will be exclusive to the Odysseus 1B. Select flag, is it in there is the question. It'd be under A, right? Yep, oop, there we go. They're 2 years ago. Nice, nice. That's probably the last time I was there too, because that's when I moved away. Hold up. First of all, I probably shouldn't make it a 50 bajillion degrees. Edgeware. Opacity. Cut off. There we go. I do wonder though, because obviously they put this on the sides of Artemis. Oh wait, I should probably get the game back up. I didn't even realize I actually did not have the game back up. Hold up. There we go. Um. There we go. But I know they have this the 250th logo on the side of SLS boosters for Artemis too. But I do wonder if there are going to be any other launches with that logo on it. To talk about the decals on Artemis too. Why are they not? Are they not? Are they like peeling off or something? Mistakes have been made. Oh boy. I guess I haven't been staring at enough pictures of the Artemis 2 SLS to really know. I do wonder though. As I said, will any other launch vehicles get the logo plastered on it? So. Okay, so I think we're good here in terms of, well, actually I need to check my staging, the as Scott Manley wisely tells us to do since the dawn of time, check your staging. So let me go ahead and do that. Down there, down there, down there. Down there, down there, down there. I'll bring up an image, or I should say a comparison image between Art 1 and 2. Okay, so... yeah, solids, the outer... Okay, there we go. Our staging is good. Alright, so that's the Odysseus 1B built, more or less. Now we've built the vehicle. Now it's just a matter of testing the dang thing, which of course is where everything goes wrong. Aerospace development is truly, it is truly something. So I think what we're gonna do is what? We have this 9-ton. Just about 9 tons, right? Yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead for the sake of it and double it, and then see how far we get. This is how I rate my launch vehicles in terms of like how much payload I want them to carry. Oh yeah, this is also slightly tweak scaled as well, I believe. Is it? Oh no, it's not. Oh no. So this is how much? This is 18 tons. This is double. Things that you will not be able to unsee ever again. Hold up, now I'm curious. Let's see. Artemis 1 SLS. Artemis 2 SLS. That's it at the pad at 39B. No, that's still the Artemis 1 SLS. That's it at rollout. That's it at launch. That's it in the VAB. They've moved the thing that I'm mostly seeing. Maybe I'm not looking at the right images, but they moved the NASA worm logo. I don't know. You're gonna have to point me at these images, like what I should be looking for. Okay. Let's not talk about that. Okay, so that's 9-ton CubeSat Block 1. This is gonna be the 18-ton dummy payload. Odysseus 1B. Who's on the side is Artemis 1 as planned. Yeah, is it only on one side where it's like that? Pretend this is our SLS for a moment. Are the NASA worm logos only on this side and this side and not on the corresponding sides on the opposite side? It's offset due to an anomaly. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Odysseus 1B. Let's go ahead. And I think for now, we'll just take our 9-ton dummy payload. Just plop that on there. So, wait, hold up. And by anomaly, I meant it got painted at the wrong position on the first segment. Oh, okay, I was like, I don't remember anything going wrong on Artemis 1 with the SRBs. So I was a bit confused there for a second. But if it was just basically a manufacturing error on Northrop Grumman's part, that would be, well, that would actually be fairly appropriate considering the recent history of Northrop Grumman and solid rocket boosters. But that is, that is besides the point. No way to go back, so embrace it, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Okay, let me check my frickin' naming scheme. With... hold up. Open. The hell's it called again? Okay. We're gonna try it out with a 9-ton payload, and we're gonna see just how much it actually is. Like, how much can we lift? Oh, I just realized that I open up 9-ton dummy payload. Ended up offset by 30 degrees. How do you screw that up? Okay. Up. Hold up, I'm just... Okay, there we go. With 9-ton dummy payload with CubeSat block 1. I need to be comprehensive in my names. There we go. Okay. And now we're gonna switch our editors, and we're gonna put this thing up in the VAB. And normally I would put, you know, the appropriate scaffolding on this. 250 was added later, though. It was not originally planned. I'm happy they added it. I'm actually, like, thank you for adding that, because I think it looks very cool. Okay, so here's our Odysseus 1. Let's go ahead and just put it out on the launch pad for now. This is our first structural test. I guess it's going to be the Odysseus 1B structural test article. Rotate it by 90 degrees? When, hold up. Maybe in the final version when I actually get the operational version of this actually fulfilled, but for right now, I just kind of want to test this. Okay, it's not falling apart, which is a good thing. That means that this is structurally sound. Do roll maneuver? Yeah. But let's go ahead and let's basically just go ahead and launch this thing in a moment. The goal for this test, it hasn't tipped over yet. I remember I built a rocket one time, and there was some glitch, some horrible glitch, and the upper stage phased through the rest of the vehicle, and the whole thing blew up, and the launch pad blew up, and it was very funny. But, okay. So our objective for this, I guess, simulation is, can we get to just staging, so you got fairing step after second stage ignition? I don't think I'll need that, actually. Well, we'll see. Because I'm thinking the center core will get us most of the way to orbit, so we'll jettison the fairing before that. But yet again, this is why we're testing. If it comes to that point, we'll just see. All right. Normally, I'd have some scaffolding to hold the booster down, but for this sake, we're not doing that. 3, 2, 1, go. This isn't supposed to be a perfect test flight. This is just to see, can this thing actually fly? Would not typically do the roll maneuver this quick off the pad. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Kill rotation. Use clamshell deployment. I have clamshell deployment on. And because we are now launching, I am not going to pay attention to chat because I need to focus on actually getting the vehicle to orbit. So, because the number of times where I have, been launching something and something has then gone catastrophically wrong because I was distracted by chat is just way too much, so I'm not doing it. Okay, it appears the crossfeed is actually working as intended, so that's very nice. Back to maximum dynamic pressure. Okay. Yep. Hello? Hello? What the fuck? Okay, that I should not have needed. Those vernier thrusters are for emergencies only. I did not know why I needed to do that, but... Okay. We can pitch over a bit more now. Oh no, it's still doing stability assist. Okay. Please don't flip out of control. Hello? Okay, we're coming up on stage sep. I still need to get a handle of how this rocket actually will function, how it will fly. Okay. Anytime you fly a new vehicle or even a modified version of the vehicle, I'm always kind of jittery in terms of how I actually fly it because I'm not entirely sure yet. Okay, but staging went pretty well. That is a lot of Delta V. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're at 40 kilometers. Let me go ahead and deploy the fairing now. And now it's just a matter of... We've gained the altitude, now it's just a matter of gaining the velocity, so we're gonna basically pitch over all the way now. And that center core is still mostly full, by the way. So, yeah, 9 tons. 9 tons is easy for this. Throttle back, I guess, a bit. I presume you got Firefly? Yep. Paper cones? Oh, good idea. I am glancing over slightly, but because now that we're out of the bit of the nerve-wracking part. Yeah, 9 tons? Gosh. It's easy. I guess that means if we have so much extra performance, we can try this again with a heavier payload. Heck, we might even need an extended fairing for some payloads, who knows? Exactly. You can never have enough Delta V or payload capacity. Yes. I mean, my intention is that I would co-manifest a lot of payloads on this, so... perhaps a bit wider fairings. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh yeah, we can have a much heavier payload on this vehicle. Man. You know what, I think the trick how we managed to do this is it's the cross-feeding, basically. If we didn't have the cross-feed between the boosters, we just would not have that amount of Delta V. Oh yeah, we are actually going down now. I was not paying that much attention. Well, actually, hold up. 100 kilometers. There we go. We are in a stable orbit. No, it's the stripes. You gotta paint the stripes to make it go faster. It looks great. Thank you, thank you. That was not a particularly efficient trajectory, I would say. But 490 meters a second of delta V left in the core stage. That's pretty good. That means we have a fair amount of margin left in that. So, okay, I guess that means this core stage is going to complete our just pay attention to electric charge. The core stage is going to complete our circularization, which is kind of crazy. And then we will go ahead and we will... Well, this is just a simulation. This is not the final version of the vehicle just yet. Hot stage, inner stage just looks a bit strange. Yeah. I mean, because when I designed the Odysseus 1, the 1A, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use hot staging because it's cool. But I realized that it's completely useless for having it be this far up. But I guess we can just chalk that up to like manufacturing. They're trying to standardize the production line, so like why change it? Yeah. The only difference between the 1 and the 1A, the 1A and the 1B core stage is the 1B core stage doesn't have fins, or the center core doesn't have fins. Okay. Now, normally I do have 400 meters a second of delta V left, and I could, in theory, you know, help that to boost me out to geostationary. However, I am not going to do that because that's dumb. It may be a waste of delta V, or just replace it. I don't want to have to go back and change it just for all of that. So I'm just gonna, just for the sake of, I don't know. I mean, this still has RCS anyways, because it's more or less designed to be a space tug. So oh yeah, I gotta enable those. What is the action group to enable? Like 10? Yeah, there we go. Okay, 2,000 meters a second of delta V left, which is really nice. I guess in that case, because we're not aiming for any particular orbit, we're just going to revert after this anyways. We can go ahead and just do that burn. And let's see. Geostationary orbit's what, 2,800 or so? So... Oh yeah, easy, easy. We could go all the way into lunar orbit with this, actually, if we really wanted to. Was it like 2,863? Yeah, good enough. Blue Origin will sue you because it's their superior version of their blue ring. I was thinking, because assuming that because obviously EUS got canceled, and ML2 also got canceled. And Centaur 5 is now being the new SLS upper stage. But from what I've seen, Gateway isn't formally canceled either. Even though it doesn't appear to be prominent in many NASA plans, at least publicly. So assuming Gateway doesn't get canceled and you still want to do the extra modules, because I know those are international collaboration, I was thinking, could you just get the extra assuming Gateway doesn't get canceled and assuming that it still happens as intended, could you just use something like Blue Ring to get the modules to Gateway, the extra modules to Gateway, launching on like New Glenn? I don't know. That was just an idle thought that I had today. There's probably a bajillion reasons about why that wouldn't work, but okay. Let's go ahead and just circularize. The revision was only made to Artemis 3 and Artemis 4. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I was saying, because I know the recent graphic that they put out didn't have Gateway in it, which led to some speculation that Gateway is going to be canceled. And then the formal announcement was made that EUS and ML2 are canceled, but Gateway wasn't canceled. So I'm assuming, I was operating under the assumption that, okay, Gateway is still going to be a thing. It's just going to come later than probably on like Artemis 5. And saying, okay, yeah, Gateway, after the PPE Halo launch, you're going to need to find a way to get those international modules up there. So something like New Glenn with Blue Ring, because you can't co-manifest payloads on SLS anymore because you don't have the exploration upper stage. So, hello, I've been at dinner. Hello, Spud, welcome in. Well, if you look at the graphics, it only shows till 2028. Good point, I didn't even realize that, because, damn it, did I miss your thoughts on the thing? No, Spud, in fact, we just started this conversation. 900 meters a second of Delta V left. That is actually perfect, because my intention... Okay, here's the thing. So if you notice that my space tug, my upper stage, it is basically the ULA ACES proposal from a bunch of years back, where it's effectively a space tug in and of itself. My idea is that after the primary mission is completed, like for example, this would be the primary mission, we're delivering, I don't know, 9 tons, 2 geostationary satellites up here. After it completes its primary mission, it comes back and can be used as like a wet workshop, or you can take the remaining fuel out of it and use it for whatever purposes you want. So having 950 meters a second of Delta V left is actually really good. That is like perfect for what I want to do. So in that case, let's actually just bring this thing back to LKO. Let's just go ahead and undock that. We can still revert, right? Yes, we can. It requires the least amount of modifications to the SLS stage, allegedly. Yeah, most of the modifications I think you would probably need to do, and me and Spud were actually talking about this earlier today, is in order for it to fit ML1, you would probably need to do some modification of the, you'd probably need to do some modification of the, fueling ports on Centaur 5 to match with the ICPS. And then I suspect that because Centaur 5 is what? It's also a balloon tank. We're gonna aerobrake, by the way. MLP will be modified for the standardized SLS. Really? Okay, I was under the impression that it ended up getting canceled, but I guess that makes sense. Well, okay, if you need to do that, then if you can just build ML2 for standardized SLS.
Endeavor Houston, negative return.
Endeavor copies, negative return.
Copy, negative return. Hello, Norvern, welcome in. I saw you were playing Terraria with like what Rizwan and Pouch and all that. Shout out to my good friend, my streamer friend Norvern Crayland. Go follow him. Hold up, let me do the... Okay, yeah, Z Goblin, that makes a lot of sense, especially if they're gonna want to be launching, 2 or 3 times a year with standardized SLS. You probably do need 2 mobile launchers at that point. Okay. But yes, welcome in, Norvern and other person. We are talking about spaceflight stuff, so I don't know how much you would actually know or be interested in that, but thank you for the raid nonetheless. Too much downtime at 3 and 4. Actually, yeah, good point, because if they're looking at what, like a 10-month turnaround between 3 and 4, then yeah, they can't modify the ML1 in that amount of time. So it really just was the US. Like, Mobile Launcher 2 is still being a thing. I assume that the Bull boosters are still being a thing, because you will need them after the 5th flight, because all the old shuttle boosters are going to be spent by that point. I'm pretty tired, so I'll mostly lurk quietly. That's fine, that's fine. Oh yeah, it is pretty late over there. It's like... Wouldn't it be like 3 a.m. where you are? If it's 3 a.m., just go to bed. But thank you for the raid, Northern. I really do appreciate it. So, I hope you had a fun stream with everybody. So, can I just realized that 65 kilometers basically does nothing. Oh well. Yeah, EUS, 5th engine option, advanced RS-25. Oh, that's right, they did consider, adding a 5th engine onto SLS. Okay, so yeah. So it really just is standardized SLS, which is SLS with Centaur 5. And then you introduce the Bull boosters after Artemis 5. Well, starting on Artemis 6. And you, yeah. And you have ML1 and ML2, and you fly a lunar mission once every 10 months. Until basically you have commercial options fully to the lunar surface sometime in the mid-2030s, probably. Not bad, actually. I have no idea what I'm doing, but... Actually, this is a good test to see if we can do it without aerobraking. Yeah, 600 meters, second to Delta V left. It's not much, but if we do aerobraking, we can cut that down to a reasonable amount. Okay, I think I've demonstrated what I actually want to do with this flight. Yeah, the issue is that Orion will be a long time the only vehicle capable of safe return. Yeah, that's the thing. Regardless of what SpaceX says, I do not think Starship will be able to do the whole mission for quite a while. And, you know, unless Blue Origin pulls a crew vehicle out of their rear, I don't... you're going to have to use Orion for, I don't know, at least the next decade when it comes to lunar stuff. There really isn't another option. Okay, so I think we've actually gotten it. We got it, guys. This works well. I need to dial in the launch profile, so I'm not, like, wanting to die in, like, every single time I fly this vehicle. But I think the Odysseus 1B is actually working really well. So let me go ahead. Forever save real. Okay. I mean, there's also still the question of whether SLS is going to be a position where it'll be flown past the expenditure of all shuttle casings after 8 flights, assuming that SLS a year ideal that puts in the early mid-2030s. Here's the thing, Spud. You have the Bull boosters, which is the booster life extension program. Booster obsolescence and life extension, I think, is the acronym. That's basically Northrop Grumman making new, fresh boosters for SLS. And that Bull hasn't been canceled. If Bull got canceled, that would signal, okay, after, you know, Artemis 8 or whatever. I thought it was Artemis 5, but I think... Or it might be Artemis 8, I'm not too sure. That would be the hard stopping point for SLS. But considering Bull hasn't been canceled, that's still a program which is continuing. That... Assuming you can get standardized SLS up and running, that basically assures it, barring any other shenanigans, past when all the shuttle casings are retired. So, okay. Now, one thing I do with my rockets just to make things look cool is I actually go ahead and I add the little struts and the scaffolding to make it look cool on the launch pad. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I don't think we need to do any modifications for this. I think this is pretty dang well set. So, rotate the heavy version by 90 degrees. Yes, we will do that. Yeah, that'll look better. Okay. Where's the music? Did the music cut out? Oh yeah, I had the Subnautica soundtrack on and it cut out. Let me go ahead and... Actually, hold up. There we go. Let me... On my end, it's really quiet, but I'm pretty sure that's only because I have my headphones turned all the way down. Yeah, my headphones were at like 10 volume. Why does it say I have 10 viewers? I refuse to believe that. Oh, Pouch and Rizwan are still playing Terraria. So, EJ streaming, Genji's streaming, Space Monkey or Roomba. To be fair, EUS was underpowered anyways. Yeah. Shortline stonks, indeed. I'm still thinking about how in 2017, Blue Origin offered up Glen Stage 2 as a replacement for EUS, and NASA said no. And the reason why NASA said no was, oh, it's a schedule risk. You won't be able to... We'll get EUS done before GS2. But EUS was still years from flying, and Glen Stage 2 has flown, well, twice on New Glenn, so... I just find that really funny. Oh. But yes, true stonks indeed. I don't know how I managed to get people to watch me. Here's the thing, like, when it comes to my streams, I've been doing this for like 6 years now. And for most of that, I did not have any viewers. But now whenever I stream, people show up, which is really, I guess I'm really fortunate in that regard, that people actually want to watch me. And people show up every stream. So I'm not just talking to myself. I have people that I can talk to. Which is great, because if you've ever streamed, you will know the utter pain and despair it is to basically just be talking to yourself, because you need to fill dead air. You can't just say nothing. Because if you say nothing, then people will be more likely to click off. I still do very much wonder how they plan to integrate /human raid Centaur 5 at the same time as the US will be ready will actually pan out. Centaur 5 may have common heritage with Centaur 3, which has been human rated, but it's still ultimately a new stage that needs to be integrated. Some work may or may not have been done in the background, already getting Centaur 5 rated for human spaceflight. Yeah, the fact that NASA was really, like, quick and ready to go and being like, yeah, we're gonna put Centaur 5 on it, tells me that this is something that has been in the works for... This is something which is not just spontaneous. This is something which has been in the works for a little bit at this point. I used to stream prior to COVID, and it's quite a challenge, especially when you're introverted. Yeah, I that's fair. I think when it comes to me, though, like, I'm pretty introverted in real life, too. But, you know, here's the thing. When you interact with people in real life, you know, you need to deal with them face to face and all that nonsense. But when you're online, you can just do whatever the heck you want. And, So Centaur 5 has some flight heritage. Yeah. So process can pick up start rather quickly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, assuming Vulcan can actually get back to a respectable launch cadence after the what did Joe Barnard call it? I don't remember. What he called it. An anomaly? A liberation? I don't know. That's still a very funny video. After the first and second incidents, I don't think Vulcan's gonna be flying for a little bit, but Vulcan will probably be back before. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be back. It's gonna probably be back flying within like 6 months to a year, and they can do the certification. They can introduce the upgrades for SLS on Vulcan before they fly it on SLS. So EUS hadn't even had a test tank welded. Yeah, the infamous Boeing box render, where it's like, here is a render of a box that we're gonna use to test parts of EUS. Yeesh. Yeah, EUS, it had some hardware, but not a lot of hardware. Centaur 5 is at least flying. Okay, save. CS1A. Or is that slapped on there? Okay. I like my things to look cool. Ultimately, is this a good decision? You know what? I think at the end of the day, having I think Rook explained it pretty perfectly, where you need to increase flight rate of SLS. That's the only way where you don't run into major headaches every single time you try and fly the stupid thing, because you actually have muscle memory and you know how to fly it. And you can't do that if every version of SLS is slightly different and you have a bajillion, like a very set number of missions that do a bunch of complicated tasks. To be honest, with their performance on SLS, Boeing hasn't earned the right to get EUS done, in my opinion. Yeah, especially after Starliner. So I do ultimately think that this is a good decision, and I feel like, yeah, is there some risk that Centaur 5 may not be ready? Putting Centaur 5 on SLS, there's issues with that. But I feel like that's a lot more doable than completing out EUS, considering, well, Boeing's history. And to ULA's credit, right, Centaur 5 is flying, and they do have a track record of delivering on time. The ICPS for Artemis 1 was delivered on time in 2018. That thing sat for 5 years waiting to fly. It was perfectly ready. So it's now getting EUS on SLS, or Centaur 5 on SLS in 2 years. Yeah, that's still a tall order, but NASA should have just awarded the US back to ULA in 2017. Now they have to deal with what's available. They should have just accepted... They should have just put GS2 on it. That's what should have happened. Okay. Let me go ahead. Alright, I think we're done here. We have our launch vehicle. Now we can go ahead and fly the actual mission. Because I always do like a simulated flight, where I just test things out and I revert. And then I do the actual like in-game mission where I keep everything on orbit. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, what are we doing in game? We're building out my launch vehicle, Spud. I have been working on the rocket that you see on screen, the Odysseus 1B. That's what I've been putting together. This is going to be, this is designed to lift 9 tons to geostationary orbit and come back. So let me go ahead. One thing I also do is I also always skip forward a bunch of days to kind of just simulate the passing of time. It's not too much. Like, I typically skip forward about 20 days or so between launches. So let me go ahead and skip forward to what, like day 40 or something. That's something I never used to do that with my old saves. Like, once I got done with a mission, I immediately just launch another. But I kind of want to simulate the passing of time. And once we get, like, on-orbit infrastructure and we're flying multiple missions at once, we're going to have to jump between a couple of things. Because, oh yeah, we're launching this mission in 20 days, but I have to do a burn for this flight, which is ongoing now. And, you know, I have that transfer window coming up and stuff like that. You know, actually simulate it, you know, real space programs don't just have one mission going on at once. There's multiple things happening that overlap, and you have to deal with all of them. We're due GS2, but Congress wanted fully fund NASA-owned SLS. Yeah. Although for SLS, GS2 4-engine is way better than the fourth one. Yeah, the Quattro. Okay. So this is ready to go with the 9-ton dummy payload. We're going to go ahead and we're going to launch this. I'm going to put it out on the pad, and then I'm actually going to run to the bathroom real quick, because I've been drinking a lot of water. So, I'm also getting a bajillion pings. Okay. Oh, we're on the wrong pad. I always like to, I never like to use the normal pad, because I have the KSC Extended mod, which adds realistic launch pads. So let's go to, let's launch set as launch site. C40. Because, I don't know. My eventual goal is that someday down the road, we're probably going to have, like, the Odysseus 2 or something, where it's a 3.5 meter vehicle that's probably going to be reusable, have a flyback first stage. Or, not a flyback first stage, I mean, I guess it does fly back, but not something with wings that flies back, but a Falcon 9 style return to launch site sort of thing, and that's going to use 39A and 39B out there. So replacement for SLS will likely be 9x4. Yeah, 9x4 with a third stage with GS3. So, oh, that looks very pretty. I do wonder how viable just straight up replacing SLS with New Glenn 9x4 plus Orion would be in this scenario. Where all these commercial launch, yeah. Spud, you'd need, with normal GS2 and the specs that they're shopping around for it, or GS2, 9x4, with the 4-engine GS2 and the 9-engine first stage, it's still not heavy enough. It still can't deliver. It can't launch Orion onto TLI. You need a third stage, which Blue Origin is supposedly working on GS3. So, okay, I am going to be right back. Let me just go ahead. I'm gonna let y'all enjoy this beautiful launch vehicle. So I will disappear, and I'll be back in like 3 minutes. So. Hello, I am back. I just realized that I forgot to do something. um, LH2 leak. This is a Keralox rocket. What are you talking about? This is actually Keralox because I have a mod installed that adds different fuel types. So this is. I genuinely want to revert due to fuel boil off. I'm pretty sure the fuel boil off is very minimal. So. LV003. I need to change that. Look, LH2 is always there somewhere. That is true. I like to add the little basically it basically tells you what launch vehicle it launched off of. So you know when you're flying through space and you accidentally collide into some random ancient Odysseus upper stage, like okay, this was actually the 22nd launch of this vehicle. And just for the sake of keeping things consistent, I'll change it on there as well. So, VAB. I always build things in the SBH because the camera controls are way better. There we go. You know, the upper stage also isn't Hydrolox. It's also Keralox. I don't know. Maybe that's a future upgrade down the road. Have a Hydrolox upper stage, but for now we're just going with this. Oh. I might suddenly. Okay, there we go. Are we on? Yeah, we're on the right pad. Okay, friends, take your screenshots now. I will definitely be taking these screenshots because this is a beautiful. I want to say that this is probably the Odysseus series, probably the this incarnation of it, because I did have a reusable rocket that was also named Odysseus at one point. It's probably the best looking launch vehicle that I've made. Nice, yes. Yeah, there's still the second upper stage that's on orbit, and then the CubeSat. I think it would be a nice thing to do in the save that every single time I launch something, I launch like a little CubeSat with it as a ride share, and I name it after someone in chat. So the first one is the Little Warriors one because when I launched that other rocket, he raided me. So I guess that means if I want to be fair, we'll call it the Northern Sat 1 or Crowsat 1 or something. Whatever he wants me to name it. Well, the only thing I would add is add a short white top that tank the control module on the core. You know what? Maybe, but I kind of don't want to go back and modify this vehicle if I don't have to anymore, now that I've had a version of this. The creepy Subnautica soundtrack right here. Alright, I am not paying attention to chat anymore. Let me just... Alright. I don't know why I'm quick saving, but... Okay. Hey Fig Pudding, you came in just in time. I am about to launch this rocket, the Odysseus 1B. I am now proceeding to not pay attention to chat because I need to actually fly this thing. So... Our engine ignition. And liftoff. Here we go. begin our gravity turn. Gotta get cool photos. Throttle back. Period of maximum dynamic pressure. No idea when max Q is, I just do that because actual rockets do that. I'd never do that consistently, but... Back up a little bit. Okay. We need more of a pitch over now. Okay, kill rotation. Coming up on stage separation. There we go. We got a good stage sep right there. Throttle up the center core. Now we're on center core. The center core looks very naked, but because it doesn't have the fins or the decals. 41 kilometers up. Probably can jettison the fairing now. Okay, we're up high enough. Time for the final pitch over. And now it's just a matter of gaining our speed. Gained altitude, now let's gain speed. I guess we can begin throttling back. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, the music kicked in right in time. Nice. That is nice. You laugh, Fig Pudding, but I think my crew capsule will actually be called the Aurora. I do want to name it that. Okay, I think we're in a good spot right now. We can just continue to press on. Nice, looking great so far. Oh shit, abandoned ship, bearing sep. I missed Soyuz 2.1, horrid gremlin rocket. Warning, hull failure imminent, abandoned ship. Maybe most of us were reviving too much to realize they needed to abandon ship. Yeah, exactly. Man, I love Subnautica, but I cannot play that game because I'm just terrified of the ocean. I love the soundtrack, though. The soundtrack is utter peak. Okay, well. Right, final press to orbit, my friends. There we go. initial orbital insertion achieved, 100 kilometers by 81. Excellent. That was perfect. Oh my gosh. I believe OceanGate collaborated with them. Yeah, it was a three-way between them, OceanGate, and Virgin Galactic. But that was perfect, man. We got in that orbit nice and smooth. That was great. I am so happy. No wonder they had the durability of toilet paper. Yeah, indeed. All right. So now it's just a matter of warping to our apoapsis, having the core stage do the final orbital insertion burn to circularize. We'll drop off the little satellite or little CubeSat, and then we'll orbit around one more time, and then we're gonna go put this in a geostationary transfer orbit, I guess. Or just a geostationary. We're gonna go full super sync, I think. So, or direct to geo, not super, because super sync is when you go past geo in order to expedite you actually getting into a geostationary orbit. We're just doing full direct to geo with this flight. Okay, so there we go. To simulate how this would actually work, I'm going to go ahead and jettison the core stage now. Go ahead, change that over. It's now time to extend out the solar arrays on our Odysseus upper stage here. Spaceship 2 is the only time I've seen a spacecraft retirement announcement and said, "Oh, thank God." True. Okay, we got our core stage right here. Now, luckily, the core stage actually has control. I gave it control specifically for this reason, because I knew that there would be cases where we would have to fly this thing into an orbit, and we would need to deorbit it at some point from the orbit. Unfortunately, I believe that the only place where we could do... No, actually, no, the ocean's right there. The cloud layer was just obscuring it. Second one would be Starliner, I guess. Assuming they can't fix it. But that is a absolute disaster of a program. What got me was the one fault redundancy on the reentry thrusters. Because the way that the requirements for commercial crew worked was that the thrusters that they use for reentry were supposed to be two-fault redundant, right? You can have two sets of them fail, and you'd still be fine. It was discovered doesn't feel like the right word. The thrusters on Starliner were only one fault redundant. And you have to remember that the thrusters on Starliner were not working well. So it was a distinctive possibility. Because on reentry, the primary reentry thrusters stopped working. So they only had the backup. And because it was one fault redundant, if that backup failed, Starliner couldn't orient and control itself during reentry, so it would have just tumbled out of control and burnt up. Which is really bad. But what gets me about that was the commercial crew program requirements said that the reentry thrusters needed to be two-fault redundant. How, and Starliner wasn't. How does that get past, like, how the hell does that get past your critical design review, or even your initial design review? How does that's bad enough. How does that make it to not just the first flight, but the third flight? How does no one realize that you do not have the safety requirements built into the vehicle that you were required to have? That's what got me. That's what got me most with Starliner. It wasn't everything else. It wasn't, everything else was bad enough. That's like, come on, man. The fuck? Ugh. Well, we're gonna go ahead and re-enter this stage. I don't have re-entry heating too high up, so this will probably make it through. But I'm just gonna tumble it because why not? Oh, why am I glitched out? Hello. Yeah, because I peeked behind my microphone. Yeah, Starliner is fucked. Yeah, exactly. Uh. Okay. Well, we're gonna peacefully watch this thing tumble back while I don't know, like, check Discord or something, because I have a bunch of notifications. I'm very easily distracted by people, so... let's see. Tumbling, tumbling, tumbling. Ah, here we go. We got the re-entry now. What if I just... How fast can I tumble this thing? Because these verniers are pretty, they're pretty strong. I put them on here because I thought I'd need them on launch, but I guess not. I guess they're just extra. I don't really need them anymore, but I guess they're still on here. I guess I can keep them on there for onward maneuvering then. What do you make of the Shenzhou incident recently? Gonna be honest, never really looked into that one. Mostly because I don't really look into China's stuff all that much. Eat. Let's check. We're at 30 kilometers and still going. Oh, we are actually overheating. I'm not going to turn on the thrusters because I actually kind of want this to burn up, not going to lie. I don't know, the base re-entry heat in Kerbal Space Program is like nothing, so... Oh, it's gonna burn up. It's gonna overheat. It's gonna overheat. It's gonna do it. Yeah, there we go. Come on, blow up, blow up. No, no. I feel robbed. Hold up, can I just... Ah. I wish there was a way you could turn up re-entry heat after you've already started the save. This entire thing made it through. We, like, land this? Hold up. This might actually have the control for me to land it in the ocean, even though that's not the intention at all. Landing. Will the suicide burn Delta V require us to get yeah, it's less than. Suicide burn countdown, 6 seconds. Can we land this thing? Oh, yeah. There we go. It landed in one piece. That wasn't my intention, but... I don't know. That's really funny. Accidental reusable rocket. Whee! Kersploosh. Well, I guess we can recover this now, even though that was not my intention at all, but okay, we actually have a mission to continue to fly. Chenzhou 20 reached Tiangong with crew, but was deemed unsafe for current re-entry due to crack in one of the windows. Crew landed on a separate Chenzhou launch with another crew afterwards, and Chenzhou 20 re-entered, landed uncrewed 9 months after Tiangong. Okay, yeah, I do know that. I just didn't know any of the specifics. Um, okay. So now we have this. Let's go ahead. We have this on orbit. Let's go ahead and deploy our little payload. We're gonna undock that. And here we go. We're gonna go ahead, and because Norvern rated us, because you rated us, we're gonna call this Rosat. Let's just, because I don't know, maybe he'll raid me again at some point. We'll just call it Crosat 1, or I don't know, to make it fancy, we'll use an I-I. But yeah, this is little Crosat. I feel like this is all the stuff we're gonna get so many stories out of 20 years from now, via whoever the Chinese version of Anatoly Zak turns out to be. That is true. I don't know, because part of the reason why I'm not that interested in China's space program is just because, like, there's just so much secrecy behind it, and it's just kind of hard to research a lot of things. And there isn't the kind of like historical record you have with like the Soviet space program, where you know we know everything that went on. So, all right, we got our little satellite in orbit. Now let's go ahead and warp out to, well, let's just, I don't know. Warp around until the day. I don't know, do we want to be over anywhere specific? Probably Kerbal Space Center, just for the sake of it. Okay. Now, friends, it is time for our geostationary transfer orbit burn. So 3, 2, 1. You have a good light. Here we go. Okay, let's see. And I think once this is up there, we're probably just going to leave it up there. All right, there we go. And let's go ahead and just use the RCS to adjust 2000. There we go. That is a stationary. For a stationary orbit, exactly. I thought the game music was the RCS firing at random, but it wasn't. Yeah, we're just gonna leave this up there. Once it gets into that orbit, I think on a future mission where we actually go ahead and deploy a proper satellite, we'll do the other half of this flight where we basically come back and to low Kerbal orbit. That's future capabilities, I guess you could say. Okay. And I think after this flight, I'm probably going to end the stream there. Right, got a good light. Okay, let's see. Alright, close enough. Let's go ahead and do a bit of trim on that orbit. Okay. Warp out there. Finally getting a competent non-American human space program for the first time since the Cold War. Hit the send button too early. Honestly, I'm quite clearly interested in Chinese program because it just seems like we're finally getting, yeah. That's fair. It's just something that I haven't really, like, because it's not easily as, I guess you could say, accessible as the American programs. It's just something I really haven't been really too interested to look into just yet. But I'll probably get it. And that's not a knock against China's space program at all. China's space program is really good from everything I've seen. But I don't know. I'll probably be interested in it at some point. There'll come a time where I probably should read more up on it. Okay. So, I think we're done here. 990 meters second at Delta V. Yep, that's about what I expected. I don't think that's enough to bring this back. But I think for this flight, we'll just leave this here. And there's an asteroid approaching. Huh, interesting. We'll just leave this here, and then on the first flight, when we actually deploy geostationary satellites, we'll bring the main stage back down, just as a demonstration on that flight. This flight was more or less just to prove that we can actually get this up here with a decent amount of fuel to spare. So let me go ahead and... let's see. This one, LV... go ahead and rename this Odysseus 1. LV0003 upper stage. And then what we can do is we can put it into hibernation. And yeah, I think we're good. The moment they actually get boots on the moon, a lot of people wake up, whether or not we do it first. I mean, as enthusiasts, we kind of know this is coming for years, but it's going to be a trip to see random relatives read China lands on the moon with no previous context. Yeah, it certainly will be. Okay. I think That's a cool shot right there. You know, I always wondered, when will the, what application would there be to send humans to geostationary orbit? Is there, like, a future application where that is a thing? Because it's, the amount of delta V required to get to geostationary orbit is roughly the same. It's similar. It's not much more to getting to a low lunar orbit. So, I don't know, maybe at some point someone will have this view kind of permanent instead of just on their way to the moon. But I think, well, that's okay for now. Next time, I think we're actually going to start to throw together this network of satellites. What else do I have? I have SurveySat, which I just kind of threw up there, just kind of as a little. Thanks for the stream, man. Thank you, Z Goblin. Thank you for being here. It was nice having you in chat, and also Spud as well, to talk about spaceflight stuff. I always forget, like, what is this? Why did I put this up here? This is just oh, this is just a I guess I did this just to test some things out. I don't know, maybe we'll launch a counterpart to that with a narrowband scanner at some point. The only thing I can think of is a scenario where someone needs to repair a comsat on site, a la shuttle repair missions, but even that could be autonomously done now. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, maybe in some alternate universe where NASA has, like, beyond low Earth orbit, reusable beyond low Earth orbit capabilities in the 80s or 90s, that's a thing that happens, but okay. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Zegabloon, Spud, Thrillville109, Fig Pudding, Norvern for the raid, I hope you're asleep, Gam, Crimson, and is that it? Who else joined? I think that's it. If anyone else was watching, thank you too. So yeah, when will the next stream be? Maybe Sunday, probably not. I kind of want to get some other things working. There will definitely be a stream next Friday as well. The Luna pair emote, truly real. But let's go ahead and, you know what? Since we are playing Kerbal Space Program, let me just check. I need to get better at rating people. Following, who is streaming right now that I know? You know what? We're gonna raid one of my friends who is playing. My friend, wait, who raided? Norvern raided, but we're gonna raid Shinji, who is a friend from real life. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna raid him. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.